IGF1 is the anabolic hormone. Basically, it will trigger due to several activities which that will lead to increase the IGF1. So how it can increase IGF1, we will discuss all these things and how it can increase the bone and muscle growth. So if you are a new, please make sure to subscribe and watch the full video. Don't skip that. We will understand all these things. So in this way, basically the IGF1 is known as the insulin-like growth factor 1. Basically it is the alternate of the insulin, but the function of the insulin is different as compared to the IGF1. So the insulin is the anabolic hormone also like IGF1, but the insulin is basically lead to increase the lipogenesis, it means the obesity, and on the other hand increase the muscle growth. But in the form of muscle growth mean the glycogen storage from the glucose in the muscle for the next use during the eating time. So whenever you will eat, so the glycogen conversion, and that glycogen will deplete is known as a glycogenolysis during the starvation mode. So the energy production from the glycogen is important for the muscle to the muscle movement. So it means the insulin is too much important. But the insulin is not same like insulin-like growth factor 1, because insulin-like growth factor 1 is important for the bone and muscle growth and the density increase. On the other hand, the proteogenesis and a lot more things. Basically it means it will lead to growth, differentiation and proliferation of the myosatellite cell, and in this way the myosatellite cell will convert into the pure muscle in muscle fiber. That is important thing. And in this way the insulin-like growth factor 1 basically triggered by the fasting and the exercise. On the other hand, the ketogenic diet, fasting, ketogenic diet and the exercise, these three things is important for increase the insulin-like growth factor 1. How insulin-like growth factor 1 increase, we will discuss now. So basically whenever you will go into the fasting or during the exercise, the energy will decline due to the exercise. Or fasting, energy also decline. In this way, the insulin also not spike because you are not eating. Whenever you will not eating, so the insulin will buffer. In this way, the insulin will drop and the alternate growth factors or growth hormone will trigger from the pituitary gland. In this way, the requirement is important. And in this way, the insulin-like growth factor 1 trigger via a growth hormone, because the fasting is very important for increase the growth hormone. So growth hormone will increase, which that will lead to hold your body in the form of anabolism. So growth hormone lead to cause anabolism, but your fat is the extra part of your body will not required. In this way, the growth hormone will break down this adipose tissue into the free fatty acid, is known as lipolysis. Lipo mean lipid, lysis mean breakdown. And in this way, the lipolysis will lead to increase the free fatty acid, and the lipids in the blood will become a high density lipoprotein to the low density lipoprotein. But the LDL is not bad in this time during the fasting, because the LDL will go into the liver, low density lipoprotein, and that all lipids and LDL will use to produce and synthesis of the cholesterol from the HMG-CoA enzyme. And in this way, the HMG-CoA enzyme will convert this free fatty acid from the lipolysis and convert into the cholesterol from the free fatty acid. And this free fatty acid convert into the cholesterol, and cholesterol is very important for increase the testosterone when go into the Leydig cell, and the Leydig cell is important for the synthesis of the testosterone and dihydrotestosterone. But for female, the ovary is important for production of estrogen. All these things is important for the growth of the body, and that is testosterone is important for the production of the testosterone is important for the strength of the muscle, bone density. But let's understand about the insulin-like growth factor 1. And the insulin will not spike, so the IGF1 will trigger from the growth hormone. So the growth hormone will lead to trigger the secondary growth factor is known as the insulin-like growth factor 1. The property of the insulin-like growth factor 1 is amazing. In this way, the lipolysis also occurs, but the liver synthesizes the glycogen with the absence in the absence of the insulin, and in this way, the insulin-like growth factor 1 is important. Autocrinally bind with the liver, or paracrinally bind with the other tissue, or the endocrinally bind in the bone and muscle, release from the liver and go into the bone and muscle. But important thing you should need to understand, the muscle also produce the insulin-like growth factor 1. So the fasting is important for the increase of the IGF1, and in this way the exercise, whenever you will go into the exercise, and in this way you will break your muscle and use that all ATP, and on the other hand the glucose and glycogenolysis will occur. The glyco means sugar, genolysis means glycogen, means the glycogen, which that is the macromolecule, and the lysis means the breakdown. So the glycogenolysis. In this way, the breakdown of the muscle will lead to produce more glucose, and that will be used. And in this way, the ATP will decrease, and sugar deprivation process will lead to inhibit the insulin production. In this way, the fat will be lose more. But after the exercise, the growth hormone will trigger. Remember, the growth hormone is responsible for the recovery of the muscle, and in this way, ultimately the insulin-like growth factor 1 will increase. That is important things, and in this way, your muscle will grow. Remember about that. The exercise also trigger the insulin-like growth factor 1, and on the other hand, the fasting also. Let's understand about the ketogenic diet. Ketogenic diet buffer the insulin, and in this way, ketogenic diet increase the growth hormone, and basically the growth hormone will trigger the IGF1, which that work properly, and in this way you can achieve the goal for the bone density and increase the bone and muscle. And on the other hand, a lot more thing important you should need to understand: the overall health, cognitive function, memory problem will be clear, and a lot more disease prevention through insulin-like growth factor 1. Not only the muscle and bone growth, but overall health will improve. I hope you make sense about that. If you are new, please make sure to subscribe, like and share. See you in the next video for this time. Bye. Allah Hafiz.